Hey everyone, I'm Shane,
And I'm Erica.
and we are back for another deep dive into Kecia's tour life. You know, we love Kecia's blog. She brings you right on the road with her through music and all of her travel experiences.
That's like a virtual backstage pass.
Exactly,
Oh, heck
exactly.
yeah.
And this time she took us to a Karyn White concert at the Ludlow Garage in Cincinnati. And you know what's interesting is this wasn't Kecia's first time seeing Karyn White live.
Yeah, that's what I noticed too. And it makes you think, what is it about artists that keep fans coming back again and again?
Right. So let's dive into Kecia's experience and try to unpack what makes Karyn White so captivating as a performer. Kecia mentions that Karyn White has this timeless energy on stage, and she just has a way of making all of her songs feel fresh every time she sings them.
Yeah.
For those who aren't familiar, she's a total powerhouse R&B vocalist. She rose to fame in the late 80s and early 90s with hits like Romantic, Superwoman, and Secret
Yeah.
Rendezvous. So to have that kind of staying power for decades, what do you think contributes to an artist's longevity like that, Erica?
Well, talent, for sure. You have to have that raw ability to connect with people through your music, but it also takes a certain artistry to stay relevant over time.
Yeah.
It's kind of like finding that sweet spot between honoring your signature sound, but also evolving as a musician.
So it's not just about giving the fans what they want, but also pushing yourself creatively.
Exactly. And Karyn White she seems to have mastered that balance. She knows what her fans love, those classic hits, but she also throws in these unexpected elements to keep things interesting. Like, for example, Kecia mentioned that she performs songs from the Gale in the Storm soundtrack.
Oh, yeah, I read about that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a film loosely based on her life.
Right.
It's streaming on Tubi now. I had no idea.
See, unexpected, right? And like weaving those personal stories into a performance adds a whole other dimension to it.
Yeah.
It's like giving the audience a glimpse behind the curtain.
Makes the music that much more meaningful. It's
Yeah.
like when a chef tells you the inspiration behind a dish, suddenly you're tasting it on a different level.
I like that analogy. I like that a lot. And that's what Karyn White does. She takes her music and she infuses it with these personal touches that make it even richer. It's like you get a window into her world and her experiences and just her evolution as an artist.
Okay, so talent evolution, personal touch, got it. What about the music itself? What did Kecia specifically say about what stood out to her about this performance?
Well, Kecia highlighted something really interesting about the duet that Karyn White did with a local Cincinnati artist, Vince Stroud. They sang Love Saw It together. And Kecia said that it just added this extra jolt of energy to the show.
Collaborations can definitely do that. It's like two different creative forces coming together to create something even bigger than themselves.
Right. And it's interesting how Karyn White chose this local artist to collaborate with. You don't always see big name artists sharing the stage with up and comers like that.
It's a smart move, though. It introduces each artist to a whole new fan base.
Yeah.
I bet Vince Stroud got a ton of new followers after that duet.
Oh, absolutely.
Kecia probably did too, actually. Did she mention anything about what the audience reaction was like?
She said the crowd went wild.
Wow.
And that energy, it's contagious, and it feeds back into the performance, and it just creates this magical loop between the artist and the audience. Yeah, it's like everyone's in the room just sharing this collective experience.
Yeah,
And that's what live music is all about, creating those moments of connection.
absolutely. And Kecia's blog really captures that feeling. But, it's not just about the artist and the music. The venue plays a big role, too. What did Kecia have to say about the Ludlow Garage?
Well, she mentioned that she saw Karyn White there last year, too.
Okay.
So clearly she likes the venue enough to go back. It seems like it has that intimate vibe that lets the audience really connect with the performer.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It's not a massive arena, so you probably feel closer to the artist than the music.
Right, and that can make a huge difference. Think about it. A smaller venue often means better acoustics. You
Right.
can really hear all the nuances in the vocals and the instruments. It's almost like a private concert.
Okay, so now I'm picturing myself there. What else did Kecia say about the Ludlow Garage? Did she mention anything about the atmosphere?
She didn't go into a ton of detail, but she did say something about how the energy of the venue matched performance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an interesting point, right? The venue itself can almost become like another instrument in the performance.
Yeah, you're right. Like if Karyn White was performing in a huge stadium, it might have a completely different feel, maybe more of a spectacle, less personal.
Exactly. And it makes you realize that every little detail contributes to the overall concert experience, from the artist's song choices to their stage presence to the lighting to the acoustics of the venue. It all works together to create something unique.
So if we take a step back and we think about Kecia's repeat visit to see Karyn White, what do you think it is about Karyn White that keeps fans coming back for more?
It's like a combination of things, you know. She's undeniably talented, her voice is incredible, and she just has this catalog of hit songs that people know and love. But there's also a depth to her music and just a genuine warmth to her stage presence that resonates with audiences.
Yeah, she seems like the kind of artist who really connects with her fans on a personal level.
Yeah, and she's
Yeah.
not afraid to be vulnerable and share her stories and to invite the audience into her world.
That's a great point, and that vulnerability is what makes her music so powerful and relatable. She's not just singing, she's sharing a part of herself.
Exactly, and that authenticity shines through in her performances. It's what
Yeah.
makes them so special. You know, it makes me think about like what other artists have that similar quality, that ability to connect with their audience on such a deep level. It's not something you see every day.
It's a special talent, and it
Mm.
makes you wonder if Kecia has other artists that she's seen multiple times. She clearly has a passion for discovering and experiencing live music.
I'm sure she does. Her blog is like a treasure map for music
Yeah.
lovers. She takes us to all these amazing shows and introduces us to artists we might not have heard of otherwise.
And that's what makes music so powerful. It can transport us to different times and places. It can make us feel seen and understood, and it can even inspire us to overcome our own challenges.
Beautifully said. And it brings us back to Kecia's experience at the Karyn White concert. Clearly, it was more than just a show. It was a journey, a connection, a celebration of music and
Mhm.
life.
It sounds like it, and I'm willing to bet this won't be the last time Kecia sees Karyn White perform. What do you say we wrap things up by highlighting where our listeners can connect with Kecia and follow along on her music and travel adventures?
Sounds like a great plan. Let's send everyone over to Kecia's world.
All right, so to keep up with Kecia's tour life, be sure to visit her blog. It's keciastourlife.com.
And you can find her on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. She's everywhere.
And on that note, we'll leave you to explore Kecia's world and maybe even discover some amazing new music along the way. Until next time, keep diving deep.